Greetings and welcome to Winning Saturday Night. How's everybody doing out there? I hope you're living well. I have Shelly with me tonight, T3. She's joining me for this special coverage of the breaking events of the day. I'm sure you've all heard by now there has been a attack launched against Israel from Iran. A big old swarm of drones were sent their way along with missiles in follow. And we are going to get into the details of that tonight, as well as watch President Trump's response in full. Quite a great response, by the way. I think you guys will enjoy it. And we'll just dig deeper into the topic. I know there's probably a lot of questions out there about how they're fending off this attack and why it was launched in the way that it was launched. Very interesting tactics were used specifically for the occasion because of their the target they were attacking. So I thought that was some interesting stuff going on there. Suzanne is packing her bags and getting ready to head to Israel to join up and fight. Right? I bet that's what you're thinking. Am I right?
Absolutely. She'd be the first one that would want to go over there. I mean, she can't, obviously, but her heart does.
She wanted to go last time.
I know. She's a fighter, our Susie. How you doing, Susie?
She's cleaning out all the guns. Getting ready to go. But yeah, we're gonna figure out what's going on over there. Yeah. People are in bunkers and only able to access what's going on through X of all places. I think that's right.
Yep.
But yeah,
supposedly they're in bunkers and nobody's talking, and they're just the only information they're getting is on X. So
yeah,
at least if you're sending out messages to loved ones on X, they're seeing it if they're over there, most likely.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's jump into this. Well, a lot of people are calling this the start of World War III. Interesting. I guess it's because everybody's starting to take sides in this. And
well, I mean, it's been a very interesting day. I mean, I did not expect. I literally went to the Alex Jones thing on Twitter in Spaces to listen to his interview of Elon Musk, and he was talking to some guys, and they're just like back and forth with the banter and talk about this and talk about that, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, oh my god! And the guy that was running the space, I guess, he said, Iran just launched 50 drones. And Alex was like, 50 drones? He was like, that's nothing. He was like, this feels like a psyop to me. Like 50 drones, like between Israel has the capability to take that out by themselves. And then you have the Iron Dome. So there's also that. He was like, and then the US could easily take those out. He was like, 50 drones is nothing. Then like 10, 15 minutes later, they were like, no, there's ballistic missiles in with those drones. They're hoping to overpower the air defense systems. So that's what like the drones were like sending in like your cannon fodder, like to see if you could wear out the troops before you get there, like in the old days. Like this is just to see, oh, maybe we'll keep them busy enough that the missiles will get through. And it was wild. I mean, I was sitting here going, what is going on? I never in my life thought I would sit through something like this. I really didn't, because then it was everybody's chiming in. Jumping in, and oh, well, if they do this, I'm going to do this. And, like Putin chimed in, and Joe, where's Joe? Joe was eating ice cream in Delaware doing fuck all. So, sorry, I jumped in there. Go ahead.
No doubt. I'm just queuing some stuff up here. And let's just
I'll keep talking if you want. So just tell me.
I will.
Okay.
Let's take a flashback moment here. Hey, Anya. Hey, no, I didn't actually get a chance to say hello to everybody. I should do that.
You should say hello to everybody. Go ahead.
We jumped right into it because we're, usually we just kind of top it chill night. Now we're pivoting on the breaking news here. But yeah, let's say hello to everybody. Daisy Girl Williams, how you doing? Suzanne, how's it going? Wolfram, he wipes his paws, lips in and howls, sniffs around the area to ensure it's secure. doing great work. Thank you for dropping those links and making sure we're all good to go here.
So sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. Outpost Nerd has friends over there. Suzanne has family over there. Enya is here. She has questions. We hopefully have answers for you. And Trudeau is backing Israel. Biden isn't. I think I heard Biden say he stood firm with Israel. Of course, those words are one thing. I heard it was 100 drones deemed as the largest drone strike in history. Russia launched a larger strike against last year. That's a lot of drones that's a lot of money, man. You think about all these drones. Man,
the initial report was 50. Yeah.
50.
Yeah, well, that was the initial report.
And they were just sit there. They were a strategy. They weren't meant to do anything except for occupy the Iron Dome with targets, right? And so that the missiles could get through.
Yep. It's like they used to do. They used to send in the expendables is what they call them, the cannon fodder, so that they could, have time to move in afterwards. Wear down the defenses.
Let's do a little flashback here real quick to start us out. If you guys remember this.
The world has changed because what Trump has done. And the American people, including independents and some Republicans, know how bad he is, know how much he's misrepresented, know how he's getting close to getting us in a war. I said, as the walls close in on this man, I'm worried he's going to get us to war in Iran. Unfortunately, I may have been right. The fact of the matter is there's a lot at stake in this election. The world has changed because what Trump has done. And the American people, including independents and some Republicans, know how bad he is, know how much he's misrepresented, know how he's getting close to getting us in a war. I said, as the walls close in on this man, I'm worried he's going to get us to war in Iran. Unfortunately, I may have been right. The fact of the matter is there's a lot at stake in this election.
He did say that.
As quick as possible. Yeah, but look who got us into the war, not Trump. Just reminding, was Joe Biden canceled he canceled, right? He was supposed to say something about it and he canceled.
They had said that he was going to come out and talk, and then he was like, no, he put a press lid on any information, say that basically he wouldn't be talking to anybody today. He was still in Delaware, hanging out on his vacation in Delaware. And then Trump came out and was like, he, did like Trump does. He was like, listen, president of, whoever the hell runs Iran, because I've had way too many names in my head today. He put out a tweet on, I guess, a post on Truth Social telling him, you need to stop. We are not going to back down. We're going to back Israel because this isn't, we're going to unleash on you like you've never seen. There will be backlash, basically. And he said, you need to stop and stop now. And he was very firm about it. He didn't come out like Biden and just go, don't. What does he think this is a street gang kind of thing? Like when somebody moves toward you, you're like, don't. And they're like, oh man, my bad. I'm sorry. And back down. Iran's not going to do that. They're like, don't. No, I'm going to do what I want to do. Yeah, they always have. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Trump had them destitute. He cut them off. And Biden decided to give them, what was it? I think a total of $16 billion or something. I forget how much he gave them.
Yeah, see, that's a financial nudge, isn't it?
Well, I mean, he made them solvent again. He made them, where you got no money, you got no power. We all know that. When you go to the store, you could cajole all you want. If you don't got money to pay for something, you ain't buying it. They're not building it if they don't have the money for the materials. He gave them the money. Oh, they won't use it for that. Yes, of course they will. Of course they will.
In what world, right?
Opportunists are going to do what opportunists do. You gave them the opportunity on a silver platter.
Yeah, whatever the establishment says, you just got to reverse it, right? They always invert reality. Evil inverts reality.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's what evil wants to do, And that's what they do. Whatever they're saying, the other guy's doing, they're doing.
And I mean, I've been on Twitter all day looking at both sides of the argument and all the different, opinions and everything else. And even among like the lefties, they're all like, okay, but like we were worried about mean tweets. Can you just come out of your like retirement home or vacation home and say something to the country? Like come out and tell us that we're not going to be in World War III when we wake up? Like come out and say something, but he's not doing anything. That is not the way a president acts. You do not go to the you don't stay silent and not reassure and address the nation. Even if what you're saying isn't telling them a lot, at least be present. Be like, I'm here, I can think, but they won't put them out there because it's probably nap time. So but apparently he's locked in with national security people. That's what they said. I doubt it. He's off sleeping somewhere and everybody else is making the decision.
Doing the work.
Yeah, which just fills me with confidence. But note my sarcasm, please.
Yep. Let's play this real quick.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. It didn't have to be this way. It didn't have to be this way. I remember a president that gave us 4 years of peace, especially in the Middle East, and now Joe Biden has brought us war, potentially world war, and Iran has launched hundreds of suicide drones and cruise missiles directly at the nation of Israel. They're inbound right now, and ladies and gentlemen, we may have just kicked off World War III, certainly a much larger regional conflict in the Middle East. Never a good sign for world stability. Expect your gas prices to go to $10 a gallon. This is a crisis. There are drones inbound right now. We wait to see what happens. Here's what we know. The drones are flying across various airspaces
as it was happening
in the region and are headed directly towards Israel. The Doomsday plane has taken off in Israel, called the Wings of Zion. This is a plane that is supposedly potentially carrying Netanyahu and the cabinet. There's a plane that takes off only when it's like Air Force One, and a plane that allows the Israeli government to function from a military perspective. This is a massive, massive increase in retaliation for the killing of an Iranian general. This Iranian general was killed at an embassy by Israel, and now the retaliation is upon us. Now, Israeli air defenses are some of the best in the world and some of the most sophisticated in the world. And I don't even think we've seen actually all of the capacity of the Israeli air defenses. Obviously, when they activate the Iron Dome or the Sling of David, as they call it, this is a huge deal, and it is a very expensive system, but a very sophisticated system. Israeli military officials have confirmed that they are tracking these drones and that they will be intercepting these drones. And Jordan has given over airspace for them to do that and for Israeli planes to fly over Jordan. Every country in the Middle East has effectively declared a state of emergency. There are breaking reports that Yemen and other nations like Syria and Lebanon have begun to launch their own attacks at Israel. So this is now a multi-nation attack against Israel. Is it the end times? We will see. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the on-the-ground reporting for Fox News.
Yeah, Fox News can confirm, according to multiple sources, that drones have been launched from Iran toward Israel. It will take these drones hours to get here, and this could be just the initial phase of the Iranian attack against Israel. Israeli officials are meeting tonight to determine what
they arrived about an hour ago
to this drone attack. There are a variety of methods the Israelis use to shoot down these drones, including fighter jets and some of their more air defense systems that are on the perimeter of Israeli territory. We're talking about some of the larger systems, not the Iron Dome that we've discussed over the past nearly 200 days amid the war between Israel and Gaza, but larger systems such as David's Sling and the Arrow system. Remember, this all began earlier this month when the Israelis targeted the Iranian consulate in Damascus, Syria, killing Mohammad Zaghadi, a top Iranian general in charge of the weapon shipments to places like Syria and Lebanon. It is what the Iranians have called a red line that was crossed.
Benjamin Netanyahu speaking in a statement seconds ago, talking about how they prepared for this moment.
אזרחי ישראל, בשנים האחרונות, וביתר שאת בשבועות האחרונים, ישראל נערכת לאפשרות של תקיפה ישירה מאיראן. מערכות ההגנה שלנו פרוסות. אנחנו ערוכים לכל תרחיש, הן בהגנה והן בהתקפה. מדינת ישראל חזקה, צה"ל חזק, הציבור חזק. אנחנו מעריכים את ההתייצבות של ארצות הברית לצידה של ישראל, וכן את התמיכה של בריטניה, צרפת ומדינות רבות אחרות. קבעתי עיקרון ברור, מי שפוגע בנו, אנחנו פוגעים בו. אנחנו נגן על עצמנו מול כל איום, ונעשה זאת בקור רוח ובנחישות. אני יודע שגם אתם אזרחי ישראל שומרים על קור רוח. אני קורא לכם לשמוע להנחיות פיקוד העורף. יחד נעמוד, ובעזרת השם, יחד נתגבר על כל אויבינו.
Again, America is an ally of Israel, and will this pull America into war? Probably. I mean, like, what do you expect? We have such jackasses running our country. Joe Biden, when he was running for president in 2020, actually said, the reason you need to elect me is because I won't create war with Iran. We kid you not.
The world has changed because of what Trump has done. And the American people, including independents and some Republicans, know how bad he is, know how much he's misrepresented, know how he's getting close to getting us in a war. I said, as the walls close in on this man, I'm worried he's going to get us to war in Iran. Unfortunately, I may have been right. The fact of the matter is,
nice to know you and Benny watch the same thing.
Just days ago, that same old jackwagon was asked, hey, what is your message to Iran? We're hearing there may be war in the Middle East, and Joe Biden's message to Iran is, don't.
Mr. President, to Iran in this moment.
This is what I said.
Are American personnel and assets at risk, Mr. President? Mr. President, are American troops at risk as well?
Look, he has no idea what he's doing.
We are devoted to the defense of Israel. We will support Israel. We will help defend Israel, and Iran will not succeed. Thank you very much.
Shabbat shalom, Suzanne.
Joe Biden has also been on vacation. Joe Biden is currently on vacation. The White House schedule shows that Joe Biden is, well, out of office. Of course, he's on the beach, naturally, on the beach during World War III, potentially being kicked off. I am not aware of any type of NATO-style pact that says if Israel is attacked, that America is obligated to come to her defense. Now, I don't know that. Maybe I may be wrong, but I searched and I wasn't able to find anything in preparation for this video that says that America will consider it an attack on America the way that, you know, Article 5 does with NATO. So there is a chance that American boots on the ground won't happen here, but give me a break, right? We have warmongers running this nation. They've been wanting to do this forever. They've been wanting another war, and now they've got it. The destabilization, the weakness that America has shown has consequences. Weak men, hard times. I am reminded when Donald Trump on Rush Limbaugh's program had these words for Iran.
Iran knows that, and they've been put on notice. If you around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
And Donald Trump, naturally a legend on X, stating in the year 2018 to the Iranian president, never, ever, ever threaten the United States again, or you will suffer consequences the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. We are no longer a country that will stand for your demented words of violence and death. Be cautious. Donald Trump nuked from the sky Soleimani, the Iranian general, and an important reminder for anybody who served in Iraq or Afghanistan that the vast majority of munitions and terrorism that was executed against Americans in those fields of battle were Iranian-based and backed. And so these people are clearly bastards, but they are also totally suicidal, and we are not wanting to kick off another war. War is bad. We want peace. You should support Trump. Trump is the only option. And ladies and gentlemen, we want peace once again in the world. Remember when people were when Middle Eastern countries were making peace with Israel and normalizing relationships and signing military pacts with them? Yeah. Remember that? Yeah. Here's praying for peace. We want peace, not war. That should be the rally cry going into 2024. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
All right. So, in case you missed it earlier, they sent the drones in with a mix of missiles. Yeah, you saw the missiles there. 5 hours after the missiles and drones. The drones were just there to occupy, to be like targets, right? They're like running cover for the missiles. So they were hoping that the blanket of drones they sent would be, you know, they were kind of testing the defenses, I guess. And it, you know, they might have known it would have been a little ineffective, or they're just trying to, you know, deplete the resources. Maybe, I don't know. It's
well, they're trying to say it. Now they're saying it was like, oh, this was just a you know, like a warning shot across the bow.
Yeah,
right. Like this is you know, more is going to be coming if you don't, like, you know, back off or whatever.
Right. Which, I mean, okay.
I know. But Anti-M said, so Israel attacked an Iranian embassy first. In effect, they attacked Iran first. You really have to go back to the October 7th attack on the Jewish festival that they had. That Hamas attacked them, like Gaza attacked them, Palestine, whoever you want to blame for, whoever, not you in particular, whoever's to blame for it. And then Israel went back against Gaza, and then Iran got involved because of Syria and all that. Like, but it's the way it unfolded, like this came out and everybody started closing their airspace. Everybody. Yeah. Egypt closed airspace. The only like thing that was going out was, like it said, they're basically their version of Air Force One out of Israel, probably taking, Netanyahu and the cabinet out, which is what they're speculating. There's no confirmation of that. But it started with the attack on the Israeli people at a festival, at a religious like celebration festival outside where they did like a concert, and it was like a whole big thing. I forget what it was called. I apologize. But then that's what apparently started it all off. And they're just saying, well, you attacked an embassy. So basically they're saying, well, now we can attack your country because you attacked our government and you killed one of our, main people over there. So that escalated. And it's just been escalating more and more and more and more. Yeah, it started with Hamas Israel. Yeah. So one of the things I had a thought, guys, it went right out of my head because I read the chat. Damn it. There was something in chat I wanted to hold on. You said Trudeau's call. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I want to get us over to the Trump rally here soon for his response. But I also wanted to actually throw out a little education here on the Iron Dome for those who don't know how it works. It's just a 1.5-minute video.
Oh, good, because I was wondering.
Yeah.
By the way, it's 4:30-ish in the morning over there.
Of the actual incoming use of the Iron Dome or the defense. I'm looking for it right now. So did you have something already for that?
No, I sent you everything.
Okay.
Initially created by Israeli firms Rafael Advanced Defense Systems and Israel Aerospace Industries, the Iron Dome air defense system became operational in 2011. Israel is protected by 10 Iron Dome batteries, consisting of 3 to 4 stationary launchers, 20 Tamir missiles, and a battlefield radar. These batteries can each defend up to nearly 60 square miles. So, how does it work? Incoming threats like Hamas's barrage of rockets fired at Israel from Gaza are identified by radar. The Iron Dome then fires a missile to intercept these threats, preventing them from hitting their targets. The technology is so advanced, it can tell which missiles are likely to hit densely populated areas and those that would cause less destruction.
Welcome, thank you.
It only fires at missiles it considers to be dangerous. The military claims it has a greater than 90% success rate, but the volume of rockets being fired by terror groups at Israel means some do get through. Without the system, the Israeli death toll would be catastrophic. The Tamir interceptor missiles, manufactured by defense firm Raytheon, are also hugely costly, around $50,000 each. The United States has vowed to supply Israel with the ammo it needs to defend itself.
There you go.
There you go.
Quick little high level on how it works.
Yeah, so
add some imagery to the idea.
It does. That's I mean, I could see where they would think throwing everything at it. Like, that's like if you take take a cup of rice and pour it over something. Trying to like catch every piece of rice individually would be damn near impossible and literally stretch your capabilities to the limit. And then you just throw something behind it. That's definitely going to get through because you're not prepared. You're busy catching all these little things and taking care of these little threats, and the big ones make their way through. That's probably what they were thinking. But it failed, just so you guys know. They did attack over an hour ago. They reached there, which is one of the things Alex Jones talked about. He said, I don't understand why they're sending the drones from where they're sending them, because it's going to take 4 to 5 hours, which, by the way, it is 4:30 a.m. in Israel right now, and this started around 5 o'clock. So they arrived about an hour ago, I would say, and they were taken out. Nothing landed. They did take out an air base in the Israeli desert. I think they said 7 missiles hit the airbase and attacked it. I don't know if it completely demolished it or just did a lot of surface damage or whatever. They're not really reporting, and they're not going to tell about their weaknesses. I mean, they're not going to give us that information. They're just going to say, yeah, that we were attacked, and that's going to be that. They're not going to admit if it was taken out or not. But Alex Jones said, I don't understand why they know that you have a 4 to 5 hour window where you have multiple countries that are fully capable and ready to go in and take all of those out. Why would they do that unless this is purely a psyop? This is just a tactic that they're using, and then they came out and said, no, this is just a warning. Like, this is, we're just, this is preemptive. Like, this is just a taste of what we're going to do to you. It's, it's a scare tactic, which, it works. Everybody rallied. Putin was like, all right, we back Iran. If the United States gets in it, it's on. And then there were tweets, they're not confirmed, that allegedly China is also in with Russia, and they're going to, come up against the United States. And it's funny because they're not really saying they'll go against Israel. They're saying if we get involved, then they'll consider it like an open, declaration of war. Yeah, Sheriff, thank you, PsyOps 101. Absolutely. I mean, I thought that when I was watching it, but it's a PSYOP because it works. It does scare people. I was scared. I was calm, but I mean, I was like, what am I watching here? Because it just kept unfolding and it just kept escalating. And you wait for that. And they're like, yeah, we'll find out what's going to happen in 3 hours. So you're like, well, what the hell do I do till then? But luckily, since we don't have a president who wants to step up and say, we have a handle on the situation, we are dealing with it, rest assured, do not panic. That's all he had to do, was come out and say that. He could come out and just say, this is what. He didn't have to give specifics or whatever. A couple words more than just don't would have been great. But he didn't even give us the don't. He just disappeared. Oh no, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I need a nap. But Trump came out and he started tweeting boom, 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 one after another. And then he did this rally, which was perfectly timed. It was perfectly timed. So, I mean, I watched the rally already, so I was very impressed with him, and he was in true Trump fashion.
It was a tactical attack. I mean, it was kind of like it's a warning shot, right? Or also maybe test the defense, see who's gonna go which way when something really goes down. It's an escalation nonetheless.
Right? Well, what did it say? It said, "Okay, you said don't. I say I'm gonna." What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Nothing is what you're going to do about it. And it was enough. Oh, Jesus. I hope you didn't hear my son screaming. He's playing a video game. But yeah, they scared us. They said, you need to take us seriously. And I think now we might. I don't know. I never try to guess what our government is going to do. Because I'm always wrong. I always give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm always disappointed.
Let's hear what the real president has to say about this.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, here we go.
Wow. Hello, Pennsylvania. What a great place. Thank you very much. The pilot said it's too windy to land, sir. I said, that's okay. Land anyway. We have no choice. It's windy out here. It's windy, but it's beautiful. It's Pennsylvania. It's our place. I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth.
Hey, Noose, what's up? Noose, you said you were InfoWar listener since 2009. So we were definitely probably listening around the same time. Were you a Ron Paul person? I'm just curious. Were you behind Ron Paul?
Ron Paul.
I was.
I love that song.
I've done a couple different streams featuring him and featuring some people from back in the day. I always talk about back in the day, the Ron Paul revolution. Yes, there we go. Right on.
Awesome.
Cool deal.
Nice.
Well, you're in the right place.
Yep.
All right.
But see, now this rally is exactly what he says is exactly why I voted for him before. I went against every Democratic bone that I was brought up to have. Because I needed somebody with balls who would get out there and say the truth and say, this is, how you're feeling. I'm feeling it too. And that's what he does. He resonates for that reason, because he gets out there and he says, you're fed up. You don't want to be pushed around. You don't want to be bullied. You want to take other people's shit. I don't want to either. And I'm going to fight for you guys. And that's why I voted for him before. And that's why I'll vote for him again. I don't give a crap about his mean tweets. Be mean. I don't care. I'm mean. It's all right. I'm still a good person. That don't mean shit.
Right.
He's a New Yorker. I get it.
You don't have to be nice to corruption either. I mean, because corruption
that's right.
to submit. And he doesn't submit. And so then they go, why aren't you submitting? You're bad because you don't. And that's really the mean tweets thing is about. He's pushing back against people who are completely deceiving other people.
Mm-hmm. Really I've been screwed over with people with a smile on their face.
Abusive people don't deserve to, be coddled and be bowed down to. They deserve pushback, and that's what he gives them. All right, let's get this started.
Love it.
Thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. With your help, we're going to win Pennsylvania. We're going to defeat crooked Joe Biden, and we're going to make America great again. Before going any further, I want to say God bless the people of Israel. They're under attack right now. That's because we show great weakness. This would not happen. The weakness that we've shown is unbelievable, and it would not have happened if we were in office. You know that. They know that. Everybody knows that. But America prays for Israel. We send our absolute support to everyone in harm's way. This is an attack that would not have happened. I mean, to think about what we have to go through and the things we put up with the border, with no energy independence, with all electric cars. Would everybody like to buy an electric car for the rest of your life? But we will return the world to peace through strength, and it'll happen very quickly. I will revive American strength abroad, and we will restore American strength at home. We were respected 4 years ago all over the world. Today, we are considered a joke. It's not going to be for long. Believe me, it's not going to be for long. We will quickly rebuild the greatest economy in the history of the world like we had it just 4 years ago. It was just announced that inflation is once again raging. It's close to 4% again. Here we go. When I left office, we had virtually no inflation. First of all, Crooked Joe, he claimed inflation was transitory. Remember that? Then he said it was temporary. Then he said it won't happen. It really won't happen. And then he said, well, it's much higher than expected. And then the supply chains closed. And then the energy went through the roof. Putin, they called it Putin price hikes. Absolutely. It wasn't only Putin. It was Putin and plenty of other things that Biden got wrong. Because frankly, with Putin, Ukraine would have never happened. Israel attack, both October 7th and today, would have never happened. Then he blamed price gouging and junk fees. But all of America knows that the real blame for this nightmare lies with one person, crooked Joe Biden, as crooked as you can get. That's why the people of Pennsylvania are going to tell Crooked Joe, you're fired. Get out. You're fired.
We're fired. Never should have been in there in the first place.
One of the leading drivers of Biden's inflation disaster is his war on American energy, and Pennsylvania energy is a big problem.
Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe!
You're not wrong.
Genocide Joe!
They're not wrong. They're not wrong. He's done everything wrong. Think of it. We've been in this mess together for 3.5 years. Only a little more than 6 months until that most important day in the history of our country, November 5th. Think of that. But what has he done that's good? Nothing. Has anything that he's done turned out? Everything he touches turns to shit. True. That's true.
Right?
Under Biden, gasoline prices are up over 50%, and electricity prices are up 39%, rising 13 times faster than under the previous, think of that, 13 times faster than under the previous 7 years. When I'm back in the White House, we will end Joe Biden's inflation train wreck, and we will tell Pennsylvania, drill, baby, drill. Get back to drilling. Under my leadership, we had energy independence, and soon we would have had energy dominance. We were going to be dominant. We were bigger than Russia. We were bigger than Saudi Arabia. And then he stopped. But then he started again. He went back to Trump policies because the price started going up so high. But the day after the election, first of all, if he wins, our country is going to be destroyed. The day after the election, if he wins, he will stop drilling and he'll go back to wind, which doesn't work. He'll go back to all sorts of things that don't work. And they've proven that. When it comes to Biden, he launched an extremist crusade actually to smash oil and gas. But Pennsylvania is one of the big oil and gas, largely due to me. He wanted to smash it. Biden has imposed a savage natural gas export ban. That's putting countless Pennsylvania jobs at risk. He's risking your lives. He's risking your jobs. But he doesn't care because all he cares about is the Green New Scam, the Green New Deal, the Green New Scam. The Green New Scam, one of the biggest hoaxes. Biden's also trying to abolish gasoline-powered automobiles and force everyone into an all-electric car. But I have good news for you, all of you that love those trucks. He wants to make your truck all electric too. No more gasoline powered. On day one, I will terminate Crooked Joe's insane electric vehicle mandate. Gone. Day one. That's going to happen on day one. And I'll end Joe Biden's natural gas export ban on behalf of the people of Pennsylvania who I love. I went to school here, right? I went to school in Pennsylvania. I love Pennsylvania. As we rescue our economy, we will also rescue our democracy. Our democracy is really under siege. Our Second Amendment is under siege, but not with me. It's not. With me, they don't touch it. But our Second Amendment is under siege. Our democracy is under siege because of Joe Biden. Joe Biden loves to say that democracy is on the ballot in this election. If it is, we're going to win in the greatest landslide in history. Because we're the ones who are fighting to save our democracy, and Crooked Joe Biden is the demented tyrant. He's a demented tyrant who is trying to destroy our democracy. 2 days from now, the entire world will witness the commencement of the very first Biden trial. They're all Biden trials. You know that, right? And I'm proud to do it for you. Have a good time watching. Have a good time watching. On Monday in New York City, I will be forced to sit fully gagged. I'm not allowed to talk. Can you believe it? They want to take away my constitutional right to talk. I have a crooked judge. This has never happened before, by the way. You do know that, right? Fully gagged before a highly conflicted and corrupt judge who suffers from TDS. Does anyone know what TDS is?
You guys know that, right? Good Logic's trying to get the gag order dropped. He's filing a suit against the judge himself, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so to Good Logic, we say
good luck. We're all counting on you.
Yes.
Correct. Trump derangement syndrome. As the radical left Democrat Party seeks to do anything possible to keep me from running and winning in this election. And let me tell you, we're leading by so much, they don't know what's happening. But you know what they'd love to do? I did nothing wrong from day one. I did nothing. You had Russia, you had Ukraine, you had every hoax imaginable. With all of the things they did, with millions of pages of study, they found nothing, which makes me perhaps the most honest guy almost in the world.
Winning reality.
They found nothing. But like all true communist show trials, this is what you call a communist show trial. And we're going communist. Don't kid yourself. We don't win this election, this country is finished. Thank you very much. I love you too.
So say we all.
I love you too. That's why I put up with this stuff.
Yep. Let's address some comments here. Let's see. Kids in school or at work have parents who are in the military. I know those kids are just heart sick. Some of my friends are going to be deployed. I'm just sick. I hope not. I hope not. Stay strong. Yep. To see if Biden finds a way to stay in, it's over. No secret. I agree with that. It's like on a timetable. See, it's been not just the last few administrations, but a long-term, slow subversion of the country, right? So it's been going on for a long time, but this is now you're getting closer and closer to the end of it as they've gotten other tentacles into everything and control over the main pillars they need to get control over. And then we all know. I mean, all you got to do is turn on the TV or go to the the channel, their YouTube channel, or go to their website to find out what the World Economic Forum is doing and the United Nations. I mean, that's the head of the snake there, and their agenda is out in the open, and they flaunt it and tell you exactly how they're going to get it done. So, I mean, that's the future where the stakeholder capitalism is just another way to, say, yeah, there's communism for all, right? I wish Trump would make that correlation more often, like to really think, really get people focused on the clear and present danger coming down the road. And you think about it, if Biden does get back in for 4 more years, well, that's 28, isn't it? Right. So at that point, we gotta hope that there's another way to get someone like Trump back in the White House. Like it's not they haven't found a way to lock it down or lock it out. And we got to hope that, people are ready to get behind someone like Vivek, or someone who can go in there and knows what's going on and has the right frame of mind to get us through this time, by understanding that where the game is rigged and where the rigging is going on, so he can get to work dismantling those enablements, right? So it's no secret they have uncloaked. Yeah, they're uncloaking because they've gotten further down the road, right? And honestly, the thing is they've always they've been doing it for a while. I mean, they've been uncloaked, in my opinion, for a long time. Now they're really starting to making it like more reality for more people, and that's like
because it reeks of desperation now.
Well, I mean, they're starting to onboard it. So they're starting to once you get the agenda done, you start to roll it out. You're rolling it out to get the agenda done, but there's more to go, right? There's just Agenda 2030, which is clear and laid out. We cover that. We cover the Davos stuff. We cover all that's out there. And for the people that are new, my videos, I've covered all these topics. It's an open conspiracy series that's all about Davos and the UN and all them from the ground up and then up to current. I covered Davos 2024. So I'm on top of that. I have a show called Unrig the Game, and we read books on that. So we do audiobooks, like 1 chapter a week, and I do some content that surrounds that idea or something important. And on a bookend it with that. And we start on YouTube. We do a kickoff show, and then we hop over to Rumble and X for the free speech platforms where we can actually read the book. And we read the Control Oligarchs book. We did all 10 chapters of that. So there's 10 episodes that if you ever wanted to catch up on a book about the real bad guys that are going to be rolling this stuff out, and where we got to focus to stop it. That's a great book for that. It introduces all the players, tells you how they met, how they got things going, follows the money. Really good stuff by Seamus Bruner, or you can just pick it up and read it. It's a really good book though. So we cover all that stuff, and so that's, you know, they've been, as the agenda rolls out, Agenda 21 completed, Agenda 2030 on the horizon, Agenda 2045. Let's hope we don't ever see that one. Okay, so they are undermining every facet of America. Yeah, that's a subversion of America. Like Yuri Bezanov's content is great for that, for a framework of how it's done, how subversion works, how psychological warfare works. I did a recent episode of Unveiling Reality on Yuri, where we did, probably was my second time. The Valley of the Shadow series, I did a Yuri way back then. That's one of the earliest series I have. That's just way back. But you can watch the one that's more recent. I think it's a more complete, kind of succinct, kind of packaged piece for that. And if you haven't ever seen that, it's the real red pill, as I call it. And you can totally see it once you learn the material. You can't, you'll see it everywhere. You'll see exactly what he's talking about and where we are and how we got here. It really does, like, kind of help frame it, in a way. So yeah, all directions simultaneously and openly. It's disgusting. I agree. Yeah, definitely. We got to do something about it. Of course, we've been trying to do it since Ron Paul, haven't we? Yeah, we've been trying to get it. What we learned through Ron Paul is that, he retaught the philosophy of liberty. That's the way I see that, Ron. And it got people together. It helped motivate people to build grassroots connections and mentality, anti-establishment mindset, and helped expose the false left-right paradigm. These are things that were very important and laid the framework for us to actually get back into the, and take the GOP back from the neocon rhinos. Oh, look at that. So yeah, that was a very important time. I know we're all disappointed Ron Paul didn't get in, right? But he taught us so much. He like just ran the gate, and at the same time, he educated a whole generation of people about liberty again, refreshed their minds about what liberty means and how important it is, and what we got to fight against, and as well as exposing the neocons. So to get the GOP back, we had to have that kind of support, right? We had to have that kind of knowledge, to get those guys to be able to rally behind the people that weren't with them, and actually give people back a choice, and whether they make the wrong choice or the right choice, at least they have a real difference in candidates, right? Forever it was no different, and people didn't see that because they were playing WWE face heel games. But they were all working together, further in the same agenda behind the scenes. They never would stop each other from proceeding, whether it be the social agenda or the world agenda. They kept pushing each other forward. Each one took a task and went with it. Oh yeah, member for 8 months. Thank you so much, Inya. Thank you.
She's almost full term.
Right on.
Make sure you name the baby after me. What was I gonna say? Yeah, no, I mean,
they did do him
the
dirty.
things that you've told me, like showing me about Ron Paul, he was amazing. And it's a shame that he got done the way he did. It really is, because what we wound up with was so not what we needed. But the thing is, like, this administration thinks Trump is a joke. They still think Trump is a joke.
The thing with Ron Paul, like he would have suffered the same. You see, what Trump did was show the rest of their what they were going to do next. So should we ever get a hold of the party and actually get a hold of the White House, what they were going to do next? See, Ron Paul, each one of his runs taught us a little bit more. Taught us about the delegate process. Taught us about how corrupt is the RNC? Is it even, it just taught us a lot more, right? It got them that one step further, but it also showed what they were going to try to do if we didn't have the right formula. It taught us the formula, but to kind of get to where we got to with Trump. And that is that we had to have somebody that could fund. I mean, grassroots funding was great. Money bombs were great for Ron Paul, but they obviously weren't enough. Someone that was beyond the system, it could match them in what they could spend on their own, right? So we needed somebody who was outside of their system, but had the resources to provide security, get around and do rallies like he's been doing since the beginning, to be able to get, so consecutively, like one after the other, getting out to the people, it takes money, to do all that stuff. So he had that, and he was, he couldn't be bought off or influenced by the establishment. So like he was the guy that was, he needed to be. Ron Paul was a little bit more aggressive, right?
Yeah.
And a little bit more like he had, millions or whatever, billions or whatever, he could have done, and he probably could have done it. But he needed to be a little bit more aggressive for this time. Like Ron Paul is the perfect model for the president we need after we kind of get things back and get the corruption under, if not eliminated, but minimized as much as possible. So that someone like that philosophy and that approach and that could actually be effective. He wouldn't have gotten hardly anything done, and they would have just said he was a Russian or something like that. They would have run him under the bus. They would have done everything to distract and make sure that he couldn't get any of his things done. And Trump had to go in there and he had what it took at the time to do that job. You had to have, it's just, they're two different kinds of guys, right? And they're both great leaders, but it's just a matter of what's right to go up against a corrupt government establishment. And what do you need? We need a wrecking ball that's tough and untouchable in a lot of ways. So that's how it worked out. But man, we needed both to get there. Yeah.
I mean, it felt a little like Ron Paul was a little bit of the sacrificial lamb. Like he had to be what came first to teach people, in bite-sized pieces, things that they could take in and understand and turn around. He didn't,
I voted for
overwhelm them with information.
I voted for Ross Perot back in the day.
I did not. But like Ron Paul, he educated them in bite-sized pieces. He didn't overwhelm them with information and, come at them and say, oh, this is right. He introduced it in a way that people were like, oh, they get to digest that. They move on to the next course. Oh, okay. He made it a full meal, whereas he didn't like just throw things at them and be like, here, this is all true. Believe me, because I said so. Like he was legit in how he went about it. And I think that had to be, he set the road for Trump to walk down. Like he made it so that Trump could do what Trump did. And he made it so that Trump could be where he is now. That's how I feel, because you build on the backs of other men. That's just how it is. Nobody does it alone. And I think he was instrumental in setting the tone and educating America into what was really going on. Hey, Whiskey. And I think he was essential. He just wasn't the beast, mega mouth that we needed. We needed somebody who was untouchable.
He was the right one to teach and get people prepared for, we just didn't think we had a whole lot of time left.
He laid the foundation. Without him, I don't think Trump would have gotten as far as he did the first time. I think it would have been a much harder struggle. But then you look at now and, God willing, they're doing better. Look at Biden went and did his fundraiser with 2 ex-presidents and his, I'm sorry, I have to laugh, star-studded cast of Stephen Colbert and Lizzo. Like, give me a break. And they managed to raise $25 million. Trump literally threw like this one little thing and he was like, yeah, everybody come have fun, whatever, and raise 50 million in one night. Boom. So, I mean, that's how you do it. And that's freaking them out because, like I was saying, this administration chose to treat Trump as a joke. They're like, oh, red man, like orange man, bad, whatever. Oh, he's a big mouth. Oh, he's mean. He does mean tweets and shit. And instead, like Obama went and told Biden, like, no, like you need to take him more seriously. He's a lot more of a threat than you think. And nobody wanted to listen. So reap what you sow. Yep. You don't do the job. He's got a big mouth. He's going to do it.
Yep. Let's listen to what he has to say here.
Remember, I've been indicted more than Al Capone, the great gangster. I never heard the word indictment. I didn't know. Now, all of a sudden, if I fly over a Democrat state, They call it a blue state. I get subpoenaed before a grand jury. It's horrible. Honestly, it's horrible what they're doing. They're ruining this country. They're destroying the country in every way. There's not a thing he's done that's been good, but this is a case of blatant manipulation of the law and the facts, like Russia, 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 and all of the other hoaxes that we've had to endure. The phony indictment has been torn apart and demolished by legal experts from across the political spectrum. Every single legal expert, without exception, that I can find has said, as an example, Alan Dershowitz said, I've been doing this for 60 years, teaching criminal cases, defending criminal cases, writing about criminal cases, and this is by far the weakest criminal case I've ever seen in my 60 years. There is absolutely nothing here. There is no misdemeanor. There is no felony. There is no federal crime. Every American is in danger if we don't have an objective standard of justice that's equally applicable to all. That's Alan Dershowitz. He's a Democrat. He's no fan of mine. He's a Democrat and a Harvard professor, smart guy, but he's a Democrat. He writes that. Here's another one. Highly respected former federal prosecutor Andrew McCarthy stated, it would take us an hour just to flush out all of the problems with this case. The premise of this prosecution is falsification. What Bragg, that's Alvin Bragg, he's a Soros-appointed prosecutor. And by the way, crime in New York is at record highs. The violent crime, murders, killings, all of the stuff, muggings, and he leaves them alone. They've got when I go into court over nothing, it's not a crime. When I go into court, they've got like 9 prosecutors, and in the meantime, people that murder, nobody does anything. What Alvin Bragg is trying to do is enforce federal campaign finance law, which he doesn't have any authority whatsoever to do. He's not allowed to finance. And by the way, the federal government looked at it, turned it down. It's a garbage case that he himself rejected a year earlier. When Bragg came into office, he's the district attorney. He said, I'm not doing this case. This case is bullshit. And then what happens? He does the case. And, here's the thing. They could have done this case 7 years ago. You know the way they're trying to rush it? This case would have been fine 7 years ago. Do whatever you want. They do it right smack in the middle of our election campaign. And I talk about our campaign. We want to do it now. And the same thing with deranged Jack Smith, all of these people. These are Biden people. He can't win an election. He can't put 2 sentences together. He can't find the stairs on a platform to walk off after he makes about a 2-minute speech. I got 1, 2, 3. I got one in the back. I got them all over the place. He can't find them. He's looking around. Where are the stairs? All they're trying to do, they're weaponizing government. They're trying to harm your favorite president, hurt him, so that we can't win an election. They've weaponized elections like a third world country, like a banana republic. Renowned legal scholar, very smart guy, Jonathan Turley, likewise stated, it's a real Frankenstein case. It's made up of different parts that don't hold together, and it's frightening if this can be replicated in the future. You can't do cases like this. This is an outrage. A veteran New York City attorney told left-wing Rolling Stone magazine, this is a magazine that I've never read, but probably doesn't like Trump. Left-wing is, to put it mildly. This case, they say, this is Rolling Stone. This case is a joke, frankly, and I've litigated against this office for 33 years. This case is an absolute joke. These are people that hate me, they're saying this. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if they liked me, how good they'd be? And a liberal Fordham University law professor writing in the New York Times called the case a disaster, a legal embarrassment, and a setback to the rule of law and order, and a really bad thing for New York. And businesses aren't going to move into New York because of what they're doing. Their legal system is shot. It's a joke all over the world. But when I walk into that courtroom, I know I will have the love of 200 million Americans behind me, and I will be fighting for them.
Hell yeah.
That's right. That's right. And I will be fighting for the freedom of 325 million Americans. This election is a choice between the Biden fascist state or the American Republic. It's called, we are going to make this country so great again, and we're going to do it fast. We're going to do it really fast. You know, right now, millions of people are entering our country from prisons, from mental institutions. They're coming from all over the world, all over the world. A vote for Joe Biden is a vote to end the rule of law, and it's a vote to destroy America as you know it. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote to save America's future, a vote to save American democracy, and a vote to save American freedom.
Hell yeah.
And as I say, and I've said tonight, and I'll say it again and again, and I mean it so much, you know, when we had
Maddie.
a beautiful November day, 2016, we won an election, and people are still angry about it because we weren't anticipated. They rig everything. We weren't anticipated to win that election. And what I've done to insult them is we won that election, and then we did much better in 2020 than we did in 2016, getting millions and millions of votes more. But this is going to be really special because I will tell you, 2016, we had spirit like nobody's ever seen before. 2020 blew the spirit away of 2016. We had, not only did we get millions more votes, I think the spirit was even greater. But now, because we've seen how bad they are, added to the fact that you like the job I do, you like the fact that countries respect us, you like the fact that we were energy independent, and all of the things. You like the fact that I got you the largest tax cut in the history of our country? And they're going to raise your taxes by 4 times. 4 times. Think of that.
Sweet.
Take your taxes and multiply times 4. That's what you're going to be paying if this person gets in. But I say this, and I say it. I said in 2016 that this is going to be the most important election we've ever had. But I say now, because 2016, I won to a certain extent on the border. And then I fixed the border. And when I fixed it, I wanted to make speeches in 2020 about the border. And my people said, sir, but the difference is I listen to myself. I don't listen to anybody. He listens to his people. He listens to his communist handlers, okay? He does whatever they want him to do. But my people did say, sir, they don't want to hear about the border. You fixed it. I said, I want to talk about the border. They said, sir, you fixed it. We went on. We had an unbelievable election, getting millions more votes than we did in 2016. But the election was rigged. The election was rigged. Pure and simple. 2020 was rigged. It was a disgrace. We can never let it happen again. The difference, though, is this is compared to 2016 and the border. This border is 100 times worse. This is the worst border of any country in the history of the world. There has never been a border like this where millions and millions and millions of people are coming in totally unchecked and unvetted. The American people are going to stand up, and they're going to stand up to the lies and the witch hunt and the corruption of Biden. He is the most incompetent president in the history of our country. He is the most corrupt president in the history of our country. And he is the worst president by far in the history of our country. And we have to get him out. On November 5th, we have to get Biden the hell out of office and send him back to wherever he comes from.
They're here. Hey, Daisy.
We have to get him out.
Way too many, Noose. There's just way too many.
Thank you very much. We have to get him out. You know, you look at all the things that are happening, everything, the whole world is ablaze. You know, it's interesting. Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister of Hungary, very strong guy, very strong person. I think happens to be a very good person, but a very strong person, doesn't play games, didn't want any illegal immigrants in his country. You know, then they say, oh, he's such a bad. Well, they asked him 3 weeks ago, what's going on with the world? What's going on? Everybody's fighting. Russia, Ukraine, Israel, the Middle East is blowing up. Everything's blowing up. China's going to be next with Taiwan because of weakness. China's going to be next. What's going on? He said, bring Donald Trump back as president and it'll all stop. It'll all stop.
Oh, wow, Wolfram.
He said it. And he said something else, and I wouldn't say it because I wouldn't really like the word. China was afraid of Donald Trump. Russia was afraid of Donald Trump. Everybody was afraid. I don't want to say that. I want to say they respected me. But the fact is, none of this stuff would be happening. None of it would be happening right now. We'd have a country that would be peaceful, prosperous. We would have had no inflation. Inflation was caused by energy. This stupid person, what he did with energy was that it went up 40, 50, 60%. That affects everything. Everything. If you make donuts, everything is more expensive. It's so bad. When you look at food prices now, where it's gone up by double and triple and quadruple, and you can never get that back, but we're going to get it way down, I promise you. And we're going to bring your energy so low. We're going to bring your energy prices so low that other things will follow. And that's what happened. It's very simple. Instead of trying to have corrupt prosecutors fight his battles, what he's doing, he's incompetent. And what he's doing, and it's not, I don't believe it's even him. I think it's the people that want to keep their jobs around him. They're communists. They want to keep the job because I don't think he has any clue. I don't think he has any clue.
China.
So listen, we have a little, look at this one. That's for him. It's slight. I call it slight. See the podium? I'm calling on crooked Joe Biden to debate anytime, anywhere, any place. Right there. And we have to debate because our country is going in the wrong direction so badly. And while it's a little bit typically early, we have to debate. We have to explain to the American people what the hell is going on. Because they're looking at the border and they're looking at inflation and they're looking at the economy, which is terrible. They're looking at every single aspect of our country. They look at the fact that the world is laughing at our leader and laughing at us. And just 4 years ago was the exact opposite. We were the most respected country in the world. We were the most respected that we were ever respected. We were never more respected than we were 4 years ago. It's no wonder Joe Biden and his thugs, that's all they are. They're weak thugs. Are so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones who can stop them. And all of this persecution of Donald Trump, I don't mind. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for you. But all of this persecution is only happening because I'm running for president and leading very big in the polls. We're leading so big, they're going crazy. They are going crazy. In the Wall Street Journal, they just came out with a poll. We're leading big in a place called, have you ever heard of Pennsylvania? And nationwide, we're leading by 4 points, 6 points, 9 points, 11 points. We're leading by a lot. Now, they cheat, so we have to give ourselves a lead. They cheat like hell. And when you see them cheating, you get out there and start screaming. Start screaming. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor because I am being indicted for you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
When can you
never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never, ever, ever.
I just wanted to make sure that you saw that you got some stuff I started for you.
Oh, thanks. Yep, there you go. I
So,
see it.
Kenya gave a membership that went to Auntie M.
Oh, awesome.
And you have 5 memberships gifted by Wolfram. You want to do your thing?
Oh, well. I will do it.
And those, if you don't mind, they went to The Expert, Scott's Cat, Half Irish, Grimsbar, and ZD Den.
All right.
Up big on Vietnam, it has to do. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's cold. I can tell you all about it. I mean, look at this thing. When I find it, I don't anything in.
Welcome to the Winner Circle, and thank you. Thank you for the gifted memberships.
Awesome. That is awesome. Hi, Nick Dev. Welcome.
Dev,
Go ahead.
Interesting to see if Joe gets to lift the gag order. Yeah, actually, yeah, I'm following that as well. And we wish him the best of luck in doing that. Definitely.
You guys should check out Viva Fry's video on it. He does an excellent quick really quick breakdown.
Yep.
It was amazing.
And you know what we say to Good Logic?
Good luck. We're all counting on you.
Absolutely. And you wants a special thing.
And you does?
Yeah, because she didn't get it for her super chat.
Oh, okay.
Or her membership chat.
Oh, all right. Gotcha. All right. By request.
Oh my.
I aim to please.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
all right.
Canada
That's all. I just
help. Definitely.
I just wanted to make sure that you saw those before too much.
No, thanks, because I was wandering around for a minute. So
okay.
Appreciate that. All right, let's get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let them take away your freedom. I will not let it happen. That's what they're trying to do. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me. They're after you. And I just happen to be standing in their way, and I always will be in their way. So job number 1 is going to be, and as soon as we take office, we will seal the border. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to stop the invasion and send Joe Biden's illegal aliens back home. We had the safest border, the most secure border in the history of our country 4 years ago. The safest border in the history of our country. There are charts out that just came out from Homeland Security, if you can believe that. And I don't know where the hell your border is. Put it up instead of the back of my head. I'd love to have that chart. But it shows that the lowest number ever of illegal immigrants coming in was my last week in office before this very, very, very horrible president took over. You know, one thing good about it, though, Jimmy Carter's a nice man. Jimmy Carter looks like a brilliant president by comparison to crooked Joe Biden. Crooked Joe Biden.
Poor Jimmy Carter.
He is the worst. Jimmy Carter is a happy man. Oh,
he's happy with his.
Hey, that's a good staff.
Peanuts and.
I didn't think that fine. That one
for humanity.
That's the one. See the arrow in the bottom? That's when exactly when I went. See the number? That's the lowest number in the history of our country. The week that I went out, and then look at after that. It looks like a rocket ship. It's a rocket ship of illegal immigrants and people that we have no idea where the hell they come from. People don't even know the names of the country. The people coming here don't even know the names of the country from which they came. And you see the right-hand side when it goes up? If you extend the chart a little bit, we could modernize it a little bit, add another 25%. There has never been anything like it. In Venezuela, violent crime is down 67% because they're taking their gangs and their thugs and their criminals and dumping them all across the United States of America. How about that? How about that? They're sending prisoners, murderers, drug dealers, mental patients, and terrorists, the worst Anywhere in the world, these are the only thing good about their criminals is they make our criminals like nice people. Because our criminals, I think, are much nicer than their criminals. But, you know, people think, oh, isn't it wonderful? The migrants are flowing in. These migrants are coming from mental institutions, insane asylums. They're terrorists. They're coming from prisons and jails. There's a little difference. They're coming from prisons and jails by the millions. Are we crazy to take this? This man, what he has done, you know, I say it often. I say it at the rallies. This is a nice rally, by the way. This is a hell of a rally.
Hell yeah. I like it.
I just heard there 42,000. You know, we expected maybe because it's freezing, right? It's freezing. I'm freezing my ass off up here. At least they could have given me a little bit of a heater underneath us. They gave me nothing. See, they take advantage. My own people take advantage of me. They gave me nothing. But it's one of those things, isn't it? But, you know, we expected maybe 10,000 people. We have 42,000 people tonight. 42,000. As far as the eye can see, I wish the fake news media would turn those cameras. Look at all those cameras. Wow. 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 Wow, that's a lot. You know what? I wish they'd turn those cameras back and all the way back as far as the eye can see. You have people, and I hate like hell to give them the prime spot, the media, because they don't deserve. Look where that goes back to. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. But they never turn the cameras. You know what? Even our so-called friends, I won't get into it, who's our so-called friend, they never turn the cameras. And I always thought, you know, I'd say, please turn the camera, show the crowd. You'd think that would be good for, you know, like for television purposes. Positive. They're showing these big crowds. They never want to show that we have these giant crowds because they don't like it, because they don't want us to win, because they're basically progressive. They don't use liberal anymore. They don't like the term. They call it progressive. I think progressive is a beautiful word, but it doesn't apply to them. It doesn't. It's too good a word. So we'll call them liberal. But they're liberal, and they don't want to do it. And you know what? I thought when I first started this, they wouldn't. I'd say, turn around and show the crowd, show the crowd, show the crowd. And look at all these cameras. So we had all these cameras from day one. We never had an empty seat. We literally, you know, figuratively speaking, because we don't have too many seats. We have people standing. But we never had an empty spot. We never had an empty seat. I'd say, show the people behind you. Show all the people. They wouldn't do it. And then a fight broke out in the darkest, deepest corner of the place, a fight. And those cameras turned around like a pretzel. They could do it. I thought they were just stuck. It was steel. The cameras turned around like a pretzel to show the fight because that's a bad thing. But people are coming from the Congo. Last night, we had 20 people come. Welcome to our country from the Congo. Where do you live in the Congo? We live in prison. Oh, that's right. They released them from prison. I don't think they wanted to ask what they did, but they're coming in from Africa. Well, a lot of people coming in from Yemen. You know, we're bombing Yemen because this idiot wants to bomb people. He likes to bomb people. You can solve the problem with a phone call if they respect you. They're coming from Somalia. They're coming from Syria. They're coming from all over the place. What is disconcerting, we have 31,000 people over the last few months, Mr. Congressman and Mr. Congress. We got a lot of great congressmen here tonight. We have senators, we have congressmen, we have governors, and it's so cold, I don't think I'm going to even introduce them. But think of it. They're coming in from China, 32,000 over the last few months, and they're all military age, and they mostly are men. And it sounds like to me, are they trying to build a little army in our country? Is that what they're trying to do? And Biden doesn't know because the guy doesn't have a clue. This is country changing. This is country threatening, and it's country wrecking. They're destroying our country. They're wrecking our country. As a citizen, I demand that Joe Biden close the border immediately. Close it. Close the border, Joe. You can do it. He doesn't need Congress. You know, as president, I never had Congress tell me to close the border. I closed the border. Again, the best border, the safest border in the history of our country. I built 571 miles of wall. I got Mexico to give us thousands of soldiers free of charge to protect us while we were building the wall. We were going to add 200 miles of wall, and then we had a rigged election, and he took over. And you know what he did? He sold all of it. All you had to do is, it would have been done in 3 weeks. He sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. He sold our beautiful wall panels. People want our country. It's true, though. Can you imagine that? That's when I realized this guy actually believes. Think of the things they believe in. High taxes. They're going to quadruple your taxes.
Absolutely.
They're going to destroy your Social Security
100%.
because all of these people putting in are going to make it impossible for them to service Social Security. You're not going to have Social Security.
All the time here.
Biden is killing your Social Security and your Medicare. But think of little things like, for instance, he wants to have men play in women's sports, okay? Now,
by the way, just he jumped off the border issue. I did throw a link into the chat of my coverage of that. I've done a different, probably a couple different times, but this is the definitive deep dive. I've definitely talked about it quite often, but I mean, this is the one that I have pinned up on my Rumble channel. Highly advise anybody who wants to deep dive on that to go check that out, because it has a lot of great information, including the walkthrough. We watched through of the Muckrakers documentary.
That was amazing.
Yeah, where they took the hike from through the Darien Gap, Texas southern border, and it shows a lot of the inside of what's going on there, who's helping it happen, who's helping them get here, how it's really very organized, and also a lot about how many people from China are actually coming through as well. I mean, a lot more than you probably think if you're not like up on the issue. Most of the time, the focus is on Central and South America, but under that whole crisis coming in, there's a whole nother vein of people coming in from China, and they have their own kind of like little routes and helpers and all that. So definitely check that out. Here we go.
And I mean, Trump called this out in 2016. He said, you have animals, like you have nothing but criminals and insane people coming across. And, the Democrats turned around and said, oh, I can't believe you called them this. They're good people. And they called us deplorable. So that's your government for you. Like, Trump is saying, no, we're going to keep the riffraff and the bad element out. We want them to go back where they came from. We don't want them here. They're a drain on resources. They add to the criminal element. And then you have the other side saying, no, the citizens that live here that like you, they're deplorable. So they hate us. If you need any more evidence that they hate us, that right there tells you, no, we want criminals living above, around you. We want
from the issue.
Yeah.
That's how they're distracting from the real issue too. They're turning.
But I mean, he said it way back then and they demonized them for it. And unfortunately, it all fucking came true. All of it. And it's just like, do I wish he was wrong? I absolutely do, because we would have been in a much better place. But he wasn't. He was right. And he was speaking truth. And they totally slammed him for it. Because how dare you say the quiet part out loud?
Yep. That's true.
Yep.
Use it. I mean, I think it's terrible, but I just say from a common sense, isn't it ridiculous? I'm always embarrassed when I say, and I will stop men from playing in women's, but who the hell would care? Did you see the weightlifting record the other day? I mean, I don't want to get into it. It's very demeaning to women, and I love women more than I love anything. I love women. But it's very demeaning. A record that stood for years and years. They couldn't beat it. They just couldn't do it. They'd put like a half an ounce on one side. They'd put a half an ounce of that barbell. And that woman got up and she's a champ and she couldn't do it. She just couldn't. And mom and dad, it was very sad. Mom and dad are in the front row, but they put a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other. It was a world record, stood for a long time. And then what happened? The guy comes up who happened to change his gender, right? Gender, proper word, right? They said, have you lifted before? No, I haven't. Oh, well, give it a shot. He goes like this. Bing, 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 bing. I think he broke the record by 129 pounds, didn't he? Like 120. For years, they couldn't do an ounce. Half an ounce. They couldn't do an ounce. He broke the record by 129 pounds. Are we crazy? How about the swimmer? She's a world-class swimmer, and she was badly injured, as you know, badly injured. She was a top swimmer. She grew up with the top swimmers all over California, all over the country. And she wanted to break that record. She was going to break it, too. She was close.
Hey, Andrew.
She looked left just before the whistle went off. She looked left, and there was people she's grown
Angry.
up with for 15 years. She swam against them. She looked right, and there were people for 15 years she swam against them. She knew every one of them. They were all good, but she was better. But then she looked to her very right here, and there was this giant human being. A man who about 3 weeks before was a man. But now he's a woman. And she was seriously injured. You know why, right? Because he went by her so fast that the wind burn was just more than she could take. They immediately took her to the hospital. She suffered massive wind burn from the speed at which he went by her.
The second angry conservative. Thank you for becoming a member of the winner's circle. I do appreciate that. Absolutely.
Awesome.
And you get our intro.
It's cold. A big warm Vietnam. It has to do. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's cold. I can tell you all about it. I mean, look at this thing. When I find it, it's that amazing thing.
And thank you again, man. I appreciate it very much. Welcome.
Awesome.
Welcome. All right. Get back to it.
And she was trying to break the record by 1/10 of 1 second. He broke the record by 37 seconds. Are we crazy? Is it crazy? Really? Just this week, it was reported that an illegal alien, and you just look at this, what's happening. But it was reported that an illegal alien migrant from Afghanistan who's on the terror watch list was released into the United States along with many other terrorists by crooked Joe Biden, despite being a member of a terrorist group which is responsible for the slaughter of American troops in Afghanistan. He was looked for all over the world. They're looking for him. And he's in our country now and we're looking for him. Isn't that wonderful? He should never have been here. You know, I had a report that came out recently, and it was on, I think it was on Deface the Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Donald Trump on Deface the Nation. But I think it was Deface the Nation or Meet the Fake Press. And it showed charts, and it actually had I think it was 2019, that was one of my years, terrorists into our nation, 0. It actually said 0. I don't even believe that. I mean, I want to believe it, but that's hard to believe, right? But it actually said 0. And then you go on to 2021, 2022, and they had thousands of people pouring in, terrorists. But it actually said 2019, 0. I don't believe that, but I know it was very low because we really watched it closely. We watched it like nobody has ever watched it. And I was very proud of that. It's probably the only time they ever said anything that was actually better than the fact, right? Right here in eastern Pennsylvania, you had an illegal alien criminal who murdered a woman in Chester County, stabbing her 38 times in front of her 7-year-old daughter and her 4-year-old son. A violent criminal. He was a violent person. Then in September, that same illegal alien escaped from Chester County Prison and prowled through suburban communities. You all know about him. Hiding in backyards, breaking into homes until he was found with a stolen gun, and he was ready to do massive damage all over your community. Joe Biden's border bloodbath. That's what it is. It's a bloodbath. A word that they misrepresented. His border bloodbath ends the day I take the oath of office. We will stop the plunder, the rape, the slaughter, the destruction of American suburbs and cities and towns. We will end deadly sanctuary cities. You know, the Democrat mayors want to all end them, but they don't want to, really take on because they end up getting indicted. They go after these people. When they go against DC establishment, they end up getting indicted. So the Democrat mayors don't like sanctuary cities, but they're afraid to get indicted. I will shift massive portions of federal law enforcement to immigration enforcement. We will enforce our immigration laws stricter and stronger than anybody has ever done, including me. We will impose a naval blockade on the cartels. You know, when we stopped them on land, they're very rich. They had ships, the most beautiful ships you've ever seen. I mean, these guys are loaded, nothing but cash, and they were having boats and ships on the ocean. The Gulf, come in through different ways. They're very ingenious. The only thing they understand is strength. They understand strength, and it'll all stop. You know, when I met with President Xi of China, I said, do you have a drug problem? No, we have no drug problem. Why is that? Quick trial. I said, tell me about a quick trial. When they catch the seller of drugs, right, the purveyor of drugs, they immediately give them, the drug dealers, they immediately give them a trial. Takes one day. At the end of that day, if they're guilty, which they always are, according to people that study this, I don't think anybody has never been guilty. Within one day, that person is executed. They execute the drug dealers. They have zero drug problem. Zero. They have zero drug problem in Singapore and other places. Instead, we set up blue ribbon committees made of dilettantes from all over the country that know nothing about the genius, the evil genius of these drug lords that are taking us for a ride, and the cartels that are making billions and billions of dollars because Joe Biden is a stupid person. We have a president who's a stupid person. On day one, we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. So we're pleased to be joined on this extremely beautiful but little chilly, but chilly, this is not bad. When I won the primary in Iowa, we won in a record. By the way, on the primaries, every single primary, we won in the record numbers that have never been gotten before. From Iowa to New Hampshire, we won the caucuses, the Iowa caucuses, in double the margin that had ever been won before. We won New Hampshire, the largest number of votes ever gotten in the primary. Now think of this, Republican or Democrat. Now you had Kennedy up there. You know, it's a little area for the Kennedys, and others. We got more votes than anybody has ever gotten in New Hampshire. We went to Nevada. We went all over. We went to South Carolina. We beat a certain governor there by so much. So much. You know, I'm the only one that can absolutely beat somebody by numbers that are unbelievable. And they say, and set a record in doing it. It was a record. And then I have to hear, he should have done better. Should have done better. In Nevada, we set the record. We set the record in every single state. So I'm very honored by it. And it's really great. Really great. You know what bothers me, though? This bothers me. I'm always watching. Joe Biden and Donald Trump are the two candidates. They are both very unpopular people. I'm not unpopular. You know, he is unpopular. But I am not unpopular. With 95% in the Republican Party, and a lot of Democrats are going to vote for us because they don't want to have open borders and drugs for everybody, okay? They don't want to have it. They don't want to have a nation that's not respected and wars that take place. Thank you. Thank you. But do you ever hear it? Joe Biden and Donald Trump are two very unpopular people. I'm not, and in all fairness to this guy, I mean, I don't get it because he can't speak. He can't walk. He almost fell out of a helicopter the other day. I mean, there's only 4 stairs. He held on for dear life. Oh, thank goodness. Those 2 fingers were just strong enough to hold him. But, you know, in all fairness to him, he beat all the competition. He beat it. Now, they did things that aren't, what they did to Kennedy was terrible. They did what they did. That's what they do. They're fascists, okay? But what they did was terrible. But he did beat the competition. He did it, I think, probably unfairly, just like they cheated in the last election. But they did beat the competition. But I'm really popular. And I'm popular not necessarily. I think I have a nice personality. What do you think? I think so.
As a fellow abrasive, yes, you do.
Our great First Lady said, I can't imagine why they think you're not a nice person. She might be kidding when she says that. I don't know. But I get these levels of I'm popular. Ronald Reagan was at 86%. Donald Trump is at 95%. That's popular, right? So why do these thugs and these fake news people, and there's so many cameras back there, I can't believe, that's a lot of cameras. But you know what? Whenever I start talking about them, the cameras go off because I start talking about how bad they are. They're less popular than Congress. Can you believe that? And speaking of Congress, but we have great ones. We only deal with the great ones. And we have great people here that love our country, and they're members of Congress. Dan Muser, Dan, Lloyd Schmucker. Lloyd, where is Lloyd? He's around here someplace. Lloyd, where are you? Yes? Hi, Lloyd. These are great people. Former congressman, he was a great congressman, Fred Keller. Where's Fred? Hi, Fred. Are you cold in there? You don't have a coat? He's all man, that guy. I'd like to do that too, but I just refuse to freeze. Yeah. I love these guys. Well, Mike Kelly, he used to come up with just an undershirt on. It would be like 2 degrees out. But he's a very special guy. Mike Kelly. What a great guy. State Treasurer Stacey Garrity. Whoa. Beautiful, beautiful person. She's a beautiful person. State Senator Jarrett Coleman. Jarrett. Where's Jarrett? Hi, Jarrett. Good job you're doing. State Representative Zach Mako. And Mulo McKenzie. And we have a special person with us tonight. RNC chairman, just newly installed. He's a tough cookie. He's going to stop voter theft. He's going to steal the vote. He's going to stop the steal. We have lots of the bottom line is we don't need any votes. We have all the votes. What we need is on election day, which unfortunately is now called election period because some of these things go 48 days. What the hell are they doing for 48 days? You know what they're doing? They're stealing the vote. But this guy was the head of the Republican Party in North Carolina, and North Carolina was solid. It wasn't like Pennsylvania. It wasn't like other places that went at the very end when all those votes came in late or early in the morning. Remember, we won Pennsylvania. We were up like by hundreds of thousands of votes. And then all of a sudden,
we'll be going back to it.
And we all know what happened. But it didn't happen in North Carolina, and it's not going to happen in Pennsylvania, and it's not going to happen in Georgia this time. It's not going to happen. RNC Chairman really Michael Watley. Michael. Great job, Michael. That was like he had 600.
I mean, we got to do more than just say it's not going to happen, right? So, I mean, I really hope that they got a plan. I kind of feel like a little bit like 2020 here in a sense, like I'm kind of like hanging on going, I hope you got this because we know what's going to happen,
Lawyers working for him, and there was nobody tougher on Stop the Steal. And thank you also to our super volunteers, Mike O'Hare and Al Smith, Bob Smith, and Jessica Ware. They've been unbelievable, the job they've done from day one. And they've been with me, and they said, we've never seen enthusiasm like this time. The one said, Jessica said, in 2016, it was good, really good. It was incredible. It was like a happening. 2020 was just as good and maybe even better, sir. This blows both of them away. And I think it's true. Because you know what? You look at this crowd, which you can't see the end of it, but you look at this crowd, and in all fairness, we're 6.5 months away. That's a long time. Most of these candidates on the night before the election would have a crowd that would be their largest crowd, and they wouldn't have anywhere near the people that we have right now. We're 6.5 months away. I wish we could move the election to Tuesday. Is there anything we can do? I want to move the election to Tuesday.
Oh, they're going to run with that.
You know, in the UK, they can pick their election. They say, we're going to have the election next week. I want to be able to do that. Would that be possible? From the very first day that we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden, I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. In my first 4 years, I kept my promise to Pennsylvania, and we ended the disaster known as NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with a brand new USMCA, that's Mexico, Canada, the best trade deal, they say, ever made for our country. And frankly, I know it's good because Mexico and Canada want to redo it. They want to renew it.
Yeah,
and they want it changed. And crooked Joe Biden will probably do it. How much? How much? Give me a couple of $1 million. I'll get it done. How much will it take to get crooked Joe? Don't change the USMCA. They took advantage of us with NAFTA for years. Don't change it. Don't change it. They have to have it. But it's always nice when you make a deal and they want to change it. I took on communist China like no administration in history, bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars, pouring into our treasury. When no other president had gotten even 10 cents, China gave no other president 10 cents. I also gave $28 billion out of that money. I gave it to our farmers. And I put powerful tariffs on foreign aluminum and foreign steel, which kept the steel industry in our country going and vibrant. But now Biden is changing that. We're going to end up with no steel industry with this guy. Can you imagine? We're in a war and we need steel to build our ships and build our tanks, and we don't have any. You're in a war with China. And we need, because you see what's going on today, we're very close. We're very close to a world war. We're in a war with China, and we need steel. So our guys, Joe Biden will call China. Listen, could any deal, can we make a deal? Can we have some steel? We have to build army tanks to protect us from you. This is where we are. Our country is sick. Our country is sick. We're like a house that's burning down. And it all happened over the last 3 years. And we've got to turn it around. We love our country. We've got to turn it around. We've got to turn it around fast. Under Biden, U.S. Steel is being, so think of this, United States Steel Company, one of the great companies of the world 50 years ago, is being sold to Japan. Congratulations, Japan. U.S. Steel is being sold to Japan. In my next term, you love that one, don't you? Who would believe that? U.S. deal? I would not let that deal go through. In my next term, I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. If China or any other country makes us pay a tariff or tax of 100 or 200%, we will make them pay a reciprocal tariff of 100 or 200%.
Oh, yeah. Tit for tat.
And you know what that is, basically? You screw us and we screw you. And then everybody is even. And you know what happens? There's no tax because everyone says, just forget it. We will always protect Social Security and Medicare for our great seniors. Biden can't do that. As president, I kept that promise, and I will keep it once again. I didn't touch your Social Security or your Medicare. And there were plenty of Democrats that said, do it. We're not doing it. You know, we have liquid gold under our feet, so much so that we don't have to do things that people think. We have more liquid gold, oil, gas, a lot of things, coal. You know, coal fires up the plants. Do you know that China right now is building a massive coal plant every single week? They're opening up a coal plant every single week while we struggle with wind. Where's the wind? You know the other problem? We can't get the windmills. You know why? They're made in China. China says, don't worry about America. We'll give them. But wind doesn't work anyway. It's too expensive. It doesn't work. Kills all your birds. If you'd like to see a nice bird cemetery, walk under a windmill sometime. You'll see more dead birds than anything. You know, if you shoot an American eagle like a bald eagle, they put you in jail for 5 years. But the windmill, they kill them by the thousands. You know that, right, Mr. Congressman? They kill them by the thousands. So we're very off as a country. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency. It's we. I will have the horrible war. That's right. I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine totally settled. I will settle it, and I will and I'm the only one that can say this because these other people have no clue. I will prevent World War III.
That's your new slogan.
And remember, World War III would be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons and many other types of weapons that are at a level that nobody can even imagine. You don't even want to talk about it. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. We're going to rebuild our cities, and we're going to work with Democrat mayors and Democrat governors if we have to, but we're going to rebuild our cities because our cities are going to hell. We will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., and clean it up, renovate it, and rebuild our capital city so that it's no longer a nightmare of murder and crime. Do you see the crime that's going on in Washington, our beautiful Washington, D.C.? People are being murdered all the time. They come from Pennsylvania and they want to go and see our capital, and they get murdered. So much crime, so much horrible, violent crime. But rather it will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world. We're going to clean it up and we're going to make it safe so our congressmen can walk into that wonderful place. That should be a wonderful place. And right now it looks like hell. It's filthy dirty with graffiti all over the place, garbage all over the streets, roads with potholes. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, or other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. And as I very embarrassingly said before, I will keep men out of women's sports, okay? And I will fully uphold our great Second Amendment, which is so important. You know, for 4 years, despite tremendous efforts by the Democrats on the Second Amendment, we didn't budge an inch. We didn't budge an inch, and I think you all know that. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech, and we will do it quickly, and I will secure our elections. We're going to end up paper ballots, same-day voting, and voter ID. Our goal will be that we want to have paper ballots. We want to have proof of citizenship. We want now, because you know they have all these people coming in, we want proof of citizenship. It's very important. But until then, Republicans must win. We want a landslide that is too big to rig. If you get the numbers, too big to rig. I love these people. Look, they're huddled together. They're huddled together. It's freezing out here. They're huddled together. I love it. It's freezing. I hope they know each other. Do those people, they're so close. I hope you're related. I don't know if they are. I think that he'd never met her in his life. And his wife is sitting right over here. This is not a good situation. This is politically unacceptable, sir. I have to call you out. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done, the worst president in history. So if you want to save America, then get everyone you know, register them, register Republican, and vote. The Pennsylvania primary is Tuesday, April 23rd. Go out and vote. And you know, sir, you know what? Somebody that you have to vote for. All our congressmen are in great shape, right, Dan? I think you're in great shape. All of them are in great shape. Everybody, they've all got. But I am officially giving my endorsement to David McCormick tonight. He's a good man. He wants to run a good ship. He's a smart guy. He was a very successful guy. He's given up a lot to do this. And I'll tell you what, he's the nominee of the Republican Party, David McCormick. Go out and vote for him because Casey doesn't do a damn thing. I'll tell you, he doesn't do a thing. So go out and vote for him. Sign up Volunteer for our campaign and let's win big in November. In conclusion, together,
ladies and jelly,
we are taking on some of the most menacing forces and vicious opponents our people have ever seen. They are vicious and they are horrible. But no matter how hateful and corrupt the communists and criminals we're fighting against may be, you must never forget this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. This is your home. This is your heritage. And our American liberty is your God-given right. Your God-given right. From Harrisburg to Pittsburgh, from Easton to Bethlehem, and from Johnstown to Allentown, we stand on the shoulders of American legends who poured out their blood, sweat, and tears for our rights and for our freedoms. And it's been a very rough period of time. I'll tell you what, for this country, it's never had. I don't think our country has ever been so low. But we're going to change it. We're going to get numbers like nobody's ever seen. I think we're going to swamp them. And this isn't drain the swamp. We're going to swamp them. We're also going to drain the swamp. It's a double swamp. Pennsylvania is where our founding fathers declared American independence. So much history. I mean, you have so much history here. Just think of it. It's where the Army weathered its brutal winter. We're sort of weathering it right now, but I don't say. Theirs was much worse. It's where the Army weathered its brutal winter at Valley Forge, where General George Washington led his men on a daring mission across the Delaware, and where our Union was saved by the immortal heroes at Gettysburg. Gettysburg, what an unbelievable battle that was, the Battle of Gettysburg. What an unbelievable, I mean, it was so much and so interesting and so vicious and horrible and so beautiful in so many different ways. It represented such a big portion of the success of this country. Gettysburg, wow. I go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to look and to watch. And the statement of Robert E. Lee, who's no longer in favor. Did you ever notice that? No longer in favor. Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general. And they were fighting, never fight uphill, me boys, but it was too late. And this is the state where generations of tough, strong Pennsylvania miners, factory workers, and steel workers forged the greatest nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, willpower, and strength. We are a nation that has lost its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. 3 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. And remember, it was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and it's hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. We will fight for America like no one has ever fought before. 2024 is our final battle. That is our final battle. We are either going to have a great nation again or we're going to have a failed nation. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media. We will drain the swamp. And we will liberate our country from these tyrants and villains once and for all. They are tyrants, they are villains, and they hate our country. Like those patriots before us, we will not bend, we will not break, we will not yield. We will never give in, we will never give up, and we will never, ever, ever, ever back down. With your support, we will go on to victory, the likes of which no one has ever seen. And we will evict crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, from the White House on November 5th, 2024. And that date will go down as the most important day in American history. I believe that because we're ready to be a failed nation. We're a failed nation right now. The great silent majority is rising like never before. And under our leadership, the forgotten man and woman will be forgotten no longer. It wasn't forgotten 4 years ago, I can tell you that. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Pennsylvania. God bless you. God bless you all. Thank you.
All right, there you go.
There you go. There you go. Well, I just wanted to give you a little update.
All right.
I've been, while that was playing, I was listening because it's, my second go around with the rally, which I loved. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's not a lot of chatter going on about that. They're basically just rehashing everything that's gone through. I got some notification that Nerd had sent me, Outpost Nerd. Thank you. I haven't verified it, just saying that the UN was saying that they consider this to be over. It was a preliminary attack to, serve as a warning. They consider it over, but that's their ambassador in our UN. They're on our soil. They're not really the most reliable of people. So I don't know how much stock I put in that. Also, there's little murmurs all throughout Twitter that I found that there's supposedly another 100 or so drones in a second wave attack going over. But I'm looking at the feeds all over Israel and Syria and the West Bank. The sun is rising. Everything seems really calm. Doesn't seem like there's anything going on. It's desolate. There, you don't see a soul other than official vehicles with their lights going back and forth. But yeah, I'm not seeing any people, but it seems very peaceful. So hopefully that was, all that there was. I'm not saying that that's it, but for right now, it looks like they're in a calm state. And it looks like that initial attack was probably just, them saying, hey, we're serious. You're going to take us serious, and to see who would throw their hats in. I mean, that's one way to make everybody show their cards where they were going to stand. So now they know who's with them and who's against them. They can plan better. So, I mean, really, if you think about it, was as horrible as it was a bit of an ingenious tactic on their part, because now they know exactly who's in their corner and who's not. So it was almost like, they faked to see what we would telegraph, and we telegraphed hard. So that's what I got for you. Biden won't say anything till tomorrow, obviously. If he says it then, they might have to wind him up extra special, make him a special cocktail. But that's all I got for you. That's what I got.
Cool. Yeah, I was cruising the X feed here.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny, these people that come out there and just immediately pop in there to demonize Trump over things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, and they also, did you see the thing that we were talking about last night with the Ohio coal barges that broke loose and were going down the Ohio River through near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where he's at actually. Yeah. They're like, oh, this happened. Okay, first of all, 24 or more barges, not ships, barges came loose. If you look up what the coal barges are and you see a picture of them, they pushed them together and they link them together, and another boat carries them down the river. They don't independently move on their own unless they're just moving on a current. And these broke away. It was not, nobody said it was attack. Nobody came out and said it's attack, but they're glomming onto that. And there's damage to bridges and the dam and yeah, it happened. But I mean, that usually is human error, something like that. There's nothing electronic they can mess with. They're going to say, oh, well, they could have messed with the switches or whatever that held them together. Maybe. I don't ever rule anything out, but the probability is not high. This is just something that happened. And the people that live along those rivers said because of the high tide and the high rain and everything, these kind of things happen when this happens. You know, the currents are stronger, it's unsteady, the barges, you know, are independent. They're not capable of just like moving and being steered. They're literally corralled and hitched together and pulled by another boat. And most of them were pulled back into wherever they came from by a tugboat. They were being held riverside by tugboats. So this is not an electronic thing. It's not a cyber thing. It's none of those things. It's just a thing. It happens quite a bit. Somebody maybe missed a step. Maybe they put too many together. They had and it was just charcoal. That's all it was. It was just not charcoal. It was coal. They were hauling coal. So, but if you see that, don't get all up in arms and, oh my God, it's another bridge thing. No, it's not. One thing has nothing to do with the other. Don't let them suck you into that mindset. Everybody out there. So I just wanted to say that because it really irritates me. This whole ship thing has gotten under my skin in a way that nothing else has. Because it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. So, but yeah, so that's my little contribution. Hello. They'll probably mix a special cocktail foam beforehand to be extra angry.
Right.
They'll come out. No, I was right. It's all the red man's or the orange man's fault. Why do I keep wanting to call him Red Man? It's because that video game is red thing. Oh, now I have red on the brain. But yeah, so I mean, it looks like there were little murmurings, a couple of them that I saw.
People
that
like this guy. This should make you sick, America.
Oh God, I would hang that out my window. No problem. If they only let me.
Overwhelming support. You can't believe it. This guy's a clown. This dude's
Night, ATM. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us.
Thanks for being here.
Love your participation, honey. I love it. I live for it.
This guy's this effort sold info to Iran, you know, like as he's saying, this would never have happened if I was president. What info did he sell to Iran for how much? What were you talking about? This guy's an idiot. He's always posting this really dumb. He tries to post the J6 footage like every day. He says he's gonna post it every day. I often leave him comments on there with, you know.
Oh, that one. Did you see that race?
Updates. Oh yeah,
that burns.
A male who identifies as trans just set a record in varsity high school girls track.
Look at how fast. Look at him. That ain't fair. That's not even. I mean, it's competitive sports, yes, but competition in your category. He is not in their category. He's just not. Like, I can't.
This guy tries to say that this happened because of Donald Trump.
Sure. Okay. Just blame him for everything. Bird pooped on my head the other day. Yep. But Donald Trump's fault. That was it.
This is funny. This guy's trying to say broadcast looks like a triangular shaped object shooting down rockets. Aren't they just like barrages of that? They're like triangle formation on the ground. Because these are coming in and these aren't moving. It just the way the camera moves, maybe it makes them look that way. And then they launch off and settle down. I think that's what it is.
I mean, it's so hard to check. But like I literally have 10 feeds going where I can hear what's like going on and everything. I'm hearing freaking birds. Like you don't even hear traffic. Like there's nothing right now. Absolutely nothing. It is eerily calm.
This guy thinks it was very deserved. I don't even know if this is accurate.
I think that was Lebanon. I saw that was supposed to be Lebanon. And that's the thing. People take videos and they just throw them up.
Yeah. I mean, this someone who would say something like this. So like, and look, he says Rye Liberty. Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that didn't even happen there. That was something that happened in, I think they said East Lebanon.
Yeah, that's horrifying right there. I can't believe that's actually happening.
Well, that's what they do. They're like, oh, nothing happened. Let me drudge something up because I need to get the clicks. I can't.
What I'm pointing to on the screen here.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, that might make me afraid of our military, that they'd come over and put everybody in dresses.
See, like this too. Like
I've seen that before.
Yeah, it seems like this is just someone else just grifting. Like, they're flogging.
Where are the aliens now?
Look at this guy. He thinks he's really cool. Look at that. Check him out. Boom. Oh,
you didn't need those toes. That's fine. That's fine. How'd you lose your toes, Grandpa? Well, you see, I was fighting off this rabid dog and he was biting my foot, but I was protecting your grandma. She comes in the room and goes, he shot himself in the foot. That's how it happened.
Joe. The big question.
It's like, where's Waldo? He's at the beach.
I just want to note that a short time ago, we had a graphic up earlier that said that President Joe Biden would be addressing the nation. That was an error. We just want to clarify that, and we regret that mistake. But I do want to go to MJ Lee at the. I just want to note that a short time ago,
he will not be speaking.
Nope.
Eventually, he will. Japan,
when they've programmed it into him.
The World Health Organization, they should. Thousands of Japanese citizens gathered to protest Japan joining the WHO Pandemic Global Health Accord. Oh, that's the one we were talking about before, where they were gonna try to get everybody to sign on to it.
Yep.
And basically be in control of all, activities surrounding that any global pandemics.
Suzanne made the whole stream.
Japanese don't want unelected psychotic globalists mandating things and stuff and lockdowns and other things. Yeah.
I mean, a lot more countries are getting
Max
it.
Mira in the crowd there.
Right?
I think he organized the whole thing, actually.
Yeah, he probably did. He's
spearheading the revolution. Okay, so I don't know what the rest of this stuff is.
Yeah, no. Enya, she said on my trending, it says, Israel. Israel. How many people can't spell? That's because they pronounce it Israel instead of Israel. It's Israel. Like, it's different. People do not do things phonetically, or they say it wrong and then they spell it that way. Imagine if I spelled things the way I say them.
Get out of
Good
here.
luck. Coffee. An orange. My son thinks it's terrible that I say orange. He's like, what is it? I'm like, it's an orange. And he's like, it's an orange. It's an orange. Shut up. I'm your mother. Don't talk back to me. And then he goes and says coffee right behind me. And oh, God. And I'm like, see, there's no W in God. None. Like, you say it thicker than I do. There you go, Enya. Coffee. It's CAW. Thank you. Say orange too. An orange. It's an orange. If I think about it, I say orange. But if I don't, it's forget about it. Yeah, I know. I know. Jeez. I stole that from winning. He's the queen. He's the king of I know. He's the quintessential I know. But yeah, no, it's crazy. Today was a crazy day. And I'm looking at it going, holy crap, I haven't even been awake 12 hours. And this was the day. Like, are you kidding? But you know what? It seems like They're okay. The thing is, like, there is a lot of interference with the cameras, I will say. Like right now, the camera for like Safed Israel went out for like a couple minutes. And there is a lot of static that goes in and out where they're like the feed gets interrupted or whatever. And it's always the same. It's always very staticky, but it comes back and it's fine. But I think that's just they're running so many systems right now at this point that everything is like a little wonky. And they're probably running checks on all the feeds going in and out or whatever. Mm-hmm. Who knows? I don't know what their capabilities are, but I would assume Israel being who they are, they have pretty high security systems in place. So, but I did want to say that we do pray for everybody involved. I don't care about governments. I don't care about their welfare. I don't care about the reason they're doing things right now. I am more concerned with human life. And I just wish that people would just stop dying and stop getting attacked and stop living in terror, because it's no life. I mean, that's how they get you. They beat you down until you got nothing left. And then they just run over you and take everything over. And I just pray for everybody out there, that everybody's safe and there's no casualties and no real, I guess, atrocious carnage. That's the only way I can really put it, because these are civilians. You know, they're just people. They're moms and dads and brothers and sisters and kids and pets. And I hope everybody stays safe. I really do. And I hope that we don't have to go through another world war, really. I tend to unfortunately feel like we're gonna at some point. Like this, they say this is the start of it. I'm not entirely sure. But I just pray for the welfare of everybody out there. So, I mean, if you can, just send your prayers out for that.
And do that. I think it'll blow over very soon.
Well, Suzanne, you just blew my hope to shit. Thanks. I love you, girl. 100 dead today and a bunch of teenagers taken hostage.
Hold on. Is this related to it or not related to it? It sounds like something else.
I have no idea. Listen, death is a part of life. It is. But I would rather everybody have their own natural death in their own time, as God, deems appropriate. I don't want us killing each other. I mean, I joke that I wake up every morning and choose violence, but I mean, I'm going to punch you in the face. That's all I'm going to do. Like, and even that, I'm just going to, like, I don't have the energy for it. But I don't know. I just want everybody to be safe. I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of bad news and just fear and death and just lies all everywhere I look. Every shadow has an agenda and I can't unsee it now. And it's rough. It's rough.
At least you're seeing the real thing. That's what we do here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But I'd rather see the real stuff and be scared and be informed and be prepared. Because I have little ones that, all right, they're not that little, but I want to protect them. I want to be ready. I want to live my life to the best way I can. And I want that for all of you. Violence never solved anything, George Washington. Yeah, violence is never the answer, except when it is. Yeah. Like, if you mouth off at me, it's in my face. Expect
down,
it.
girl, down.
Okay. No, I'm just saying. Like that's the northern aggression that the Southerners
hey guys, make sure
about.
Right. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for me on Rumble, on here on YouTube. Hit the like button for me.
Hell yeah! Hit that like, hit the follow. Come on, we did good tonight. It was a really good show.
Yep.
You put that together, boom, boom, boom. Very impressive, Winning. Very impressive.
Well, and I appreciate all your help too. Tomorrow
What
night
I'm here
we'll be
for.
back at 8 p.m. Eastern for Old School Watch Party. So today's it's going to be a surprise show because it's going to be a surprise to everybody. What we're going to do tomorrow,
including us. Well, definitely me. You know, I never know. I never know.
But we're gonna get on out of here. Thanks to everybody on Rumble, on X, and on YouTube that were here for the duration that on the rewatch crew as well.
Hell yeah!
Appreciate it, and we'll see you guys very soon. We're gonna
thanks
jam
for the
on
memberships
out,
too.
Yeah, thank you guys all for the memberships and everything else.
And the new
anything. Thank you for that too.
So many visitors tonight. It was great.
Yep. We're gonna jam on out of here. Yeah. So we'll see you guys next time, and until then, keep on winning.
Love ya.
Sonic gunfire off in the distance. We're used to it now. Lived in brownstone, I've lived in the ghetto. I've lived all over this town. This ain't no party, this ain't no disco, this ain't no fooling around. No time for dancing on, lovey-dovey. I ain't got time for it now. Whoa. Look on the screen, through the receiver, over an answer someday. I've got 3 passports and visas, I don't even know my real name. I'm on the hillside, guns are loaded, everything's ready to roll. I sleep at daytime, I'm working at nighttime, I might not ever get home. This ain't no party, this ain't no disco, this ain't no fooling around. No, I'm not my club, CBG, I ain't got time for it now. What about Houston? What about Detroit? What about Pittsburgh, PA? You ought to know when I can stand by the window that somebody might see you up there. I got some groceries, some peanut butter, that's a couple of days. I ain't got no speakers, I miss my headphones. Got the records to play. My city college, what do I went to? We're a little bit different this time. Got a little American postcard, I ain't nothing at all. This ain't no fun, ain't no disco, ain't no fooling about. I'm just about you. We got computers, chopping the road lines. We know they're dirty now. We dress like students, dress like husbands, up in a suit and tie. I've changed my technical so many times now. You make me shiver, you make me a sober. You make me pretty good team. Yeah, I don't get exhausted, I got a little bit of it. Yeah, I ought to get you some sleep. We got no books, we got no books, and we're winning this time. My chest is aching, my soul is burning alive.
This is a friendship battle.